He's Blake. I'm Ronnie. All the good names are taken. Podcast. Happy Friday the 13th, Blake.
Yep, it's our favorite day of the year besides Christmas and 4th of July
And Thanksgiving.
and Groundhog Day,
Halloween.
Memorial Day,
MLK Day.
St. Patrick's Day,
Juneteenth.
Pride Month.
Exactly. It's all at the same time. Blake, look, we always
Life is pretty good when every day is your favorite day.
I'm going to clip that. We consider ourselves not a horror channel, but we also consider ourselves a Friday the 13th expert level channel. Okay. Now, do we know the Dolby surround sound on the DVDs? No. But do we know the basic meat and potatoes of the franchise? Yes. Dude, Atari Flashback.
Yep.
We're going to give one of these away to the person watching that can name Nick Push's credit score exactly to the number. Price is
Good
right.
luck. It comes with Space Invaders.
So down in the comments, tell us what you think Nick Push's credit score is. And if you hit it dead on, Blake's going to mail that to you. Yep. But we like to do special things since we love Friday the 13th so much. Last Friday the 13th, which was in December, me, myself, Blake, and Tim went on a 14-hour journey of marathoning the Paramount 8. And really, Blake, there's nothing you can do to top that. And why would we try? That took so much out of us. Tim lost his job. He didn't go to work for 2 months. I don't even think we recorded videos for months. So
yeah, that killed us.
Yeah. We're not.
I played Nintendo the whole time.
We're not going to be doing any kind of marathons like that. So we got to thinking, what are some things we can do? And Blake, out of the blue, goes, "Hey, Ronnie, I'm on a Jim Bob kick. Tell me about this, Blake."
So you have been trying to get me on the Joe Bob Briggs bandwagon for years. And I tried back in, when did they bring it back, Ronnie? 2018, 2019?
Yeah, 2018.
I tried my best back then, and I'll echo, what I said. I feel like this is a unfunny version of Norm Macdonald. This is a guy doing his best Norm Macdonald impression, except he's not funny. I just don't get it. And they had some, big titty porn star out there sitting next to him who contributed nothing.
Hold on. Has absolutely ruined Joe Bob's resurgence. She's the reason I no longer watch. And you've missed the part of the journey where I just canceled my Shudder, because when I watch Joe Bob, I want to see Joe Bob. And I know he's old. I don't care about the plastic-faced drug addict to the side. And they started to center the show around her. And she's disturbing to look at because her face doesn't move when she speaks. Now, she showed Joe Bob how to make all the money, Blake. The members, the cameos, all that stuff, because he tells that sad story about how he didn't even have enough money to make change on the bus before he got this opportunity again. So I'm off Joe Bob. I'm on the reruns. Now return. What you saying?
So I consider myself a normal human being.
Couldn't be on our show because it wasn't big enough before he even got the job. All right, continue.
I consider myself a normal human being. I like to fall asleep listening to some kind of comfort, whether it's sports or watching Seinfeld. Here lately, it's been Friday the 13th content, whether it's our friends reviewing stuff, the documentaries, Vincent DeSanti's movies, or whatever. So now I'm looking for something Friday the 13th to listen to fall asleep. And I come across one of our old channels that we used to admire, Cinemassacre.
Love it.
And he did a complete review of Monstervision, which is something that Joe Bob Briggs?
Yeah, Joe Bob Briggs hosted it on TNT.
He hosted it on TNT, and I said, there's got to be a reason that this guy and my brother and everybody. There's got to be a reason this guy had a cult following. So let me go find the old school original stuff, and I found it on YouTube. And I mean, the last 3 nights I fell asleep listening to Joe Bob, and I got that TNT jingle stuck in my head from when they come back from commercial, and he's pointing at you with the ruler because he's doing a summer school gimmick, and it's
that
been
was at the
fun.
end.
Yeah, it's been fun, and he is a little corny, and most of the jokes don't land, but now I'm at the stage where like they're landing because they don't land, So I'm in like this weird things. Well, I kind of like Joe Bob now.
And what are we doing tonight or today, whenever this recording drops?
So I found the original monster version of when they attempted to marathon the first 6 Friday the 13th movies.
And it was always really cool when Joe Bob would do the all-nighters. Like it would be a random Thursday or Friday or Saturday on TNT, and if you woke up in the middle of the night or if you stayed up, you turn over TNT and he's still going. Like he's sitting in the camper at the table. He moves from outside to inside to finish it off. And like Blake said, there towards the end, they had him in a classroom like Joe Bob's summer school or something like that. And I told Blake the other night about, have you checked out his the movie channel? Because he got his start on the movie channel, and he would just talk at the very beginning, at the very end, and the movie would play in the middle of it. So there's a bunch of them there, but it's really a recycled bunch of jokes from the movie channel over to TNT. I like Joe Bob. He's a big part of my childhood, and by big part, whenever I had access to TNT, I would see it. I didn't appreciate it enough at the time, but as an old man, I can see where, that kind of stuff is valuable.
What a fun gig to get too in the 90s,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he either didn't make a lot of money or he wasn't smart with his money if he couldn't afford to ride the bus, there at the end. But
yeah, that was right before he got back on Shudder, and I think everybody, all the nostalgia, they blew it up on Shudder and took down the servers that first because it was going to be a one-time only, and that worked him into a regular series. And like I said, he's marred himself by because the mail girl is always real simple. Mail girl comes in, he makes his sexist remarks, she reads the fan mail, she's out of there. So it's ruined. But Blake had a great idea. Let's watch one of these Friday the 13th marathons that Joe Bob did, just the Joe Bob parts. And that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our Friday the 13th content, Blake. It's a good idea.
I'm excited about it. I don't think it's been done before. So here's some original Friday the 13th content for the special day.
Special Olympics.
Welcome to the first annual Joe Bob Briggs Dusk to Dawn Friday the 13th Marathon. I'm rested. I'm limber.
Hey, layer of horror.
Went to the gym today.
Yeah, you couldn't crop that out.
Sorry.
You'll notice that I don't have a single old Milwaukee tall boy anywhere near me tonight. Instead, we have the caffeine 12-pack. 6 coffees.
Thanks and credit to Layer of Horror for having played you through.
6 Mountain Dews on the other side. Keep one of these handy.
That's a good question, Blake. If you were doing a Friday 13th marathon, what is your drinks of choice for the night?
I think we'll get about 6 of them in. Are you guys ready for this? Are you guys
If I was just drinking whatever I wanted to, Ronnie, it'd probably be Diet Coke.
Kind of energy that's going to keep me awake all night, right? Turn the camera on those guys. Jay, Ernie.
Diet Coke, popcorn, Skittles.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand this?
Because if you go the beer route, you're going to be asleep in a couple hours.
So we can start at 8 o'clock. Here, start the medication. Let's get started.
I love how he always got his crew involved.
You guys are disgusting.
I would, 5 years in a row, 4 years in a row, I asked Joe Bob to come on the show, and, they always said the same thing, your channel's not big enough. I always wanted to ask if he ever did any of these like live. And what I mean by that, I'm sure all these were just recorded pre.
Yeah.
But if they ever did stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning, any of these times.
But I ask you, which film
He
had
did.
the greater impact? 8 sequels. I rest my case. Thank you very much.
And
Now,
see, I think he
people
just
would
made a
say
good
that
point there,
Halloween
Ronnie.
was the first great
Everybody
slasher
talks
movie.
about
Came out in
Friday 13th, and
1978.
then they talk about The
The problem
Shining.
with
Which one had a
Halloween
more
is that it had
cultural
socially
impact?
redeeming
He just
value.
said it. Which one had 8
There was a
sequels?
reason that Michael Myers was killing all those teenagers. In Friday the 13th, we don't even know who's really doing the killing till the very end, and it's not who we think it is, and the reason is kind of lame, and even if you saw the movie, you probably don't
Good-looking
remember
guy,
what the
though.
reason is. Now, you're thinking, I know who's
Yeah,
killing
he's all right.
everybody. Everybody knows who's
He was
doing
in
the killing
Casino.
Friday the 13th
He had a
movie.
cameo.
Well, if you hadn't seen the first movie in a while, guess again. Not in the first one. What this
And
movie
he
had
was
the
he had a
best
cameo in
in
Texas
modern
Chainsaw
film
Massacre
history.
2 that
Everybody
was
saw
cut.
those commercials.
Oh, really?
Everybody
Yeah,
got
he's a
it.
huge Texas
Kids having
Chainsaw
sex,
Massacre guy.
Kids being butchered because they were having too much sex. The simple equation that made the slasher
He'll go to
film what it
bat
is
for
today.
Toby
Wizard
Hooper, the
Maltz,
director.
what
He'll
you say about
defend
this
him,
being a
saying
movie
there's
flick?
no
Get the
way
new
that
lenses
Steven
on your goggles,
Spielberg
buddy. This is a
directed
great
Poltergeist.
movie,
It was
and we're
Toby
gonna prove it
Hooper.
tonight with this
Spielberg
one
was just on
and
set because
5
the
of
other
the
film he was
sequels
doing was
that
nearby.
followed. And as we go
He
along, I'm gonna
will. He
remind you
goes
of
to
great
bat for that
moments in
cat.
horror film history
Oh,
that
and
were
didn't know it.
defined in this movie, and we'll also trace Jason's development throughout the series and try and give you as much reason to blow off that lame Halloween party you were invited to and party all night with us instead.
Party on,
So
Wayne.
Don't wimp out on me. Here's the drive-in total.
Don't whip out on me. Stay up all night.
All right, Blake, here's the deal. So, drive-in totals. Hold on, give me a second. Drive-in totals, Blake. Really quickly, I'm going to give you the stage, and I want you to give me your 3 or 4 drive-in totals because you've been watching him, so you know what they are. You know what they're like. Drive-in totals for Friday the 13th, part 1.
Yeah, I watched it when I was asleep, though, Ronnie. So, okay, so drive-in totals for part 1. We have 1 dead snake, 1 sex scene, 1 angry mother.
Perfect. I love it.
That's all I can do.
10 dead bodies, knife to the stomach, throat slitting, cleaver through the back, axe to the face, arrow through the forehead, fire poker to the face, frying pan to the head, head hacking, and some nice violin music by Harry Manfredini. 4 stars. Check it out.
Is he 4-star or 5-star ratings?
And do we have those beanie weenies that Bill likes? Yeah. Okay, I don't want anybody getting cranky on us. Okay, good. On second thought, don't give those to him. We're going to be here too long. Drinking beer, having sex out of wedlock, and they laugh at the old geek who says, "You're doomed. You're all
The old geek.
doomed." That's something that wasn't invented in this movie, but it's also a standard item in a horror flick. If the old geek says you're doomed, then you're by God doomed. It doesn't matter that he's crazy. He knows what he's talking about because he's crazy. I'm surprised I have to explain this stuff, but as I say, it's a whole new generation. And by the way, about how long do you think Kevin Bacon is going to last now? I'd say the boy's hormones are about to do him in. What do you think? Does anybody still play that Kevin Bacon game, you know? Remember that?
7 degrees or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Which
6
one is it?
degrees of Kevin Bacon.
And you'd have to link that to a movie with Kevin Bacon in it. Like they'd say something like Breaking Away. And
He did this on Halloween, Blake. I believe it was in 1998.
Diner, and Kevin Bacon was in Diner. Actually,
Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
with this camera? What is? Let's go to camera 1. What do you mean go to camera 1? Where did Jay go?
I say go to camera 1, you go to camera 2. I say go to camera 2, you go to camera 4.
He went to the bathroom. We're in the middle of the show. Just pick the camera.
That's a good look.
He went to the head in the middle of the show. All right, roll it.
I wonder how old he is
You guys
right
need
here.
to get in the Halloween spirit, okay? I'm going to be kicking Heine all over this place. Break, and Steve, the Rhodes Scholar camp leader, still doesn't know diddly squat, does he? It's very important in a Friday the 13th that no matter
Steve
how many
Christie
people
don't know
die,
shit.
nobody ever finds out anybody's dead until the last 20 minutes of the movie.
That's
Otherwise,
true.
They would just hike their heinies out of that camp there, wouldn't they?
He's about
By the way, let me
45.
commend the TNT editing department.
He was
for that
born in
wonderful
53.
axe in the face. Usually those things don't make it through. So outstanding. We missed the cleaver.
He's
up to
72
the bed,
years old now.
skewering Kevin Bacon and protruding out
Shoe
the front of
polishing
his
that
chest.
head.
I think we got the general idea there.
That's what I want, Blake. I want a chair like that to do the show in. I'll just sit there like that.
the special effects master who went on to direct the remake of Night of the Living Dead, and all Tom's best work is exactly what they cut out.
Raised in Little Rock, Arkansas.
The more they want to cut it because it looks too real. If he was a really lame
Big-time
special
liberal.
effects artist, I guess they would like it, right? In fact, you'll be
That's a
able to
good point. He
track
said, you
exactly
know,
how his
Tom
work
Savini, the
improves
better
by the
job he
amount they cut out
does,
of
the
parts
less
2
work
through
of his
6
you
as we
see on these
continue all
networks.
night with my first annual Dusk to Dawn Friday the 13th Marathon. And Ernie, the light is
Ernie, hand me the phone.
on Jay's camera. All right, we'll go find him. We'll find him.
I still hadn't seen the payoff to this, Ronnie. I know I told you about it, that they do the gimmick where a crew member goes missing just about every commercial.
Yeah.
But I still don't know the payoff. I haven't made it to the end yet.
And decide to split up. Wonderful plan. It never occurs to him that maybe the power in the camp went out for a reason. Darn. That's Bing Crosby's son playing Bill. And I can't concentrate until I know if Jay is going to be back on his camera.
Is this
Jay, are you
inside the
there?
camper or outside?
Blake, this right here, I think,
All right, it's time to
is
kick it. We're
inside
ready to
the
go.
camper.
Okay.
You don't really know. They don't pay me enough to do this. Of course, we don't pay Jay enough to do this either, but that's not the point. What
Or
is
maybe
the
it's outside the camper.
measure that TNT
I don't
is
know.
doing?
Inside the camper, he's usually just sitting. You know how the campers have the little like table there, like a booth?
Just don't pay
He's
for
usually
that
just sitting at the
camera
booth looking out the
man.
window.
That'd be typical TNT thinking, right? Then here, Jay, hey.
Good hair. He looks like Harlan Williams, the guy that used to do the dolphin noise.
Don't be flopping it out
I love
like
Harlan
Bill.
Williams.
You'll be embarrassed. Jay,
Get the hell out of here.
what the hell is this?
Tic tac, sir.
Very cute. Little Halloween prank. Oh, nice touch. Jelly on the mirror. That's very funny, Jay. Okay, let's roll the movie. Ernie, get somebody else on camera, too. I don't want to fire the man. He's got a wife and kids, and we pay him.
Blood everywhere, doing the gimmick all night long. I'd like to know just how many creeps stayed up with him.
Betsy Palmer doing all the
A
killing.
ton.
Now, how many people remember all the camp
This
counselors
is really like a
and all
good
they
gimmick
care
too.
about
It's
is
just
having
you're
sex
telling about the
and
movie, and you know he does a great job, even in the new series on Shudder, of like giving like details that you don't really know and going, you know, he'll tell you a good story about the town or an actor or you know tied into something historical.
Killer, mommy, killer.
Not everybody can do this. I mean, what we need to do is we need to go find the old school USA Up All Night with Gilbert Godfrey and Rhonda Shear and watch how they did it in between movies. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I remember USA Up All Night.
I missed out on a a Halloween 3 TV cut.
I've got a secret, or what's
USA Up All Night. Some guy was letting people download, and it was a dead link by the time I got there.
Serial killer. Am I on the camera? Is my head?
So it's the gimmick of
Are we using Jay's
just
camera?
bad camera shots because these people keep disappearing.
There's nobody there.
I told you not to use Jay's camera anymore. Oh, that's the other camera. Jay's not back, is he? Get out the grapple hooks.
You know this guy is like pissed off at the universe. He probably thinks he should have been Matt Damon, Vince Vaughn.
Yep. He's even got the Vince Vaughn hair.
Yep. I think Robert De Niro is threatening to beat his ass in Casino or something.
He talking shit.
Well, he was just working in the casino or something.
Oh, you're talking about in the movie,
Yeah.
not behind the scenes.
No. Wow, they're just now to the end of the movie. Like they've done 2 commercial breaks
Yeah.
since you found out it was Betsy Palmer. I thought we were into part 2. Look at that idiot.
Pinhead.
I'll go juice the tires, Pinhead.
Man, I bet this was fun. Late 90s. If you got the 2 TV set up, you're playing Nintendo on one, and you got this going on the other. Put the VCR tape in, hit record, and just fall asleep. I could see how this is nostalgic for you, and this guy had a cult following. I really can. I can see it.
All right, Blake. Friday 13th, part 2. You want me to do the drive-in totals this time or you?
It don't matter. one refrigerated head. We've got one screwdriver through the head. We have one pervert. We have one pervert Scott shooting a slingshot at Terry's ass. We have a bear. We have a broken down punch bug. We have a child psychology major. We have a paraplegic. We have a machete to the skull. We have a hammer to the head. We have a shack with a toilet with water in it. He does have a good line in this one, Ronnie. He says, this is where we start. He don't call it getting woke. He calls it something else. He's like, we had to put a guy in a wheelchair in there. Pretty good line.
But we'll just run a clip, I guess. We'll show that right now, Jason is kind of a 12-year-old zombie, very skinny, not like the Jason we'll come to know and love in later flicks. But they explain that in the plots of these movies. They really do. Anyhow, we're going to watch Friday the 13th Part 2 in just a minute here, and it does pick up just exactly where this one left off. I think it happens 2 months later in horror film time. And
2 months later.
by the way, I hope nobody just turned on their TV thinking this is a regular show, because we got 6 Friday the 13th flicks tonight. But we welcome the latecomers. Grab some caffeine, and let's watch Part 2. The story picks right up with the same girl, Adrienne King, in the first scene. And I don't want to give the story away, but this is actually the first film to star Jason himself. And in some ways, I think it's a little better made than the first one. They spent some extra bucks on it. And those drive-in totals are 11 dead bodies, 1 dead dog, ice pick through the skull.
That's close.
Hello, drive-in totals.
Okay, so the guy who normally puts it up, he's missing.
We're having
Yeah.
trouble with the car run, Joe. I'm checking into it right now. Can we please have the drive-in totals, please?
What?
Please, the drive-in totals.
Driving tolls, please.
Can we please have the car run, please?
What? What's the trouble?
I'm not getting an answer, Joe Bob.
What is the Chiron? What is that?
What's that piece of equipment that puts out the drive-in
This is what I want to do, Blake. An idea I have is
totals?
where we take a Friday the 13th movie and we insert ourselves pre-recorded all throughout the movie doing stuff like this.
Just, you can't upload it, though.
Sure you can on Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble.
I love it. The gimmick of thinking you're going back to the movie, then he starts talking to everybody else.
Yeah. Like he thinks he's done talking to the
Yeah.
camera.
Underneath their name, it says slept with her mother's pimp or whatever.
Yeah.
Words on the screen. That's a person doing that? There's an actual person writing the words on the screen?
Yeah.
So you guys went to Video Technical Institute. You know
I can't remember if I dreamed it or not, but I think at some point there's some shadows behind him,
Really?
and he's just like looking behind him. I might have dreamt that.
They did Monstervision all the time before Joe Bob got there, but it was just like all black and white old horror
Yeah.
movies.
Which I bet was still fun.
It was. Like they would show like Godzilla and things like that. I'm not a Godzilla guy. Can't force myself to be a Godzilla guy.
The new one's really good. You should give it a chance. -1.
Mhm.
It's pretty good, man. Which I thought the original that me, you, and Tim watched had a really good story.
Yet another one-shot wonder. And I'll just tell you right up front, great screamer. And speaking of great screamers, it's time for a special Halloween visit from somebody I'd like to hear, if you know what I mean. Our own TNT Mail Girl. Have a seat there, Rusty. I was going to ask you if you
Wiping
wanted to
shit
go
off the chair.
with me later tonight, but it looks like we're going to be here all night, so can't
what
do
a
that.
shame. You have your costume on and everything.
What costume?
I know it looks cute. Anyway, I want you to know that I took a nice long nap today, so I'm ready to stay up all night.
You took a nap?
Mm-hmm.
Like in bed?
Immediate pervert.
Mm-hmm.
I just never thought
You
about
slept in
wearing
bed?
a little silk bustier, or you just strip down to a thong and sleep like that.
Boxer shorts and a
Cameraman
t-shirt.
laughing.
Can we go on to something else now?
One of these little tight T-shirts that bunches up around the top. Or...
Look, I don't have the letter that I was originally going to bring because I seem to have misplaced my mail bag. But I did find this letter on my dressing room.
All the mail is always hateful.
Read that.
Yeah. Or some people from prison.
Yeah.
Staff is supposed to open these things and Joe Bob, you are through. Go back to where you came from. You will pay the piper. Unsigned.
One of your happy fans, huh?
Where'd you get this?
I told you it was sitting in the vanity.
You're through.
Hey, guys, you forgot to put a stamp on the envelope. That would make it more authentic, all right?
You know, maybe it's a threat from someone on the inside at TNT.
It's these guys. Come on, real cute.
I was gonna say,
Come on,
do you
you're gonna
think
have to
there's
do
a-
better than that, all right? Hey, since we can't go trick-or-treating
This is
later
pretty
on,
much what every
hand the
YouTuber does,
deal
though,
on
right?
Joe Bob.
What, this?
Blindfolds
Yeah.
you, and you try to
Yeah.
find my hiney, okay?
You just keep up.
What do you mean, what he's doing now?
Yeah.
That's a no, right? Okay. The famous
No, I mean, I think the problem with YouTube today is even the smallest channels,
You know who did the music for these Friday the 13th movies?
they want to be taken so seriously as a movie knowledge knower.
Yeah.
But
He was thinking about
they-
using voices in the first movie.
they don't come across as, like,
To him that Mrs.
entertaining.
Voorhees was a person who heard voices. So there's a shot where it's a close-up of just her mouth going, killer mommy. You remember that? So he used the sounds from that line that is actually a K for kill.
He's
and
explaining to you the
It's for mommy.
Manfrini.
Kill mommy.
Yeah,
That's
I think we're gonna
exactly
get
him.
popped
Ray Manfredini
just for
making
that music in the
sound.
background.
People
You
go
think
up
so?
to him all over
I
the world
pretty
with
much know
these
so.
things.
We'll see.
Hi. That's got to be obnoxious, you know. When people come up to me, though, they say, "Hey, Joe Bob, 6 dead bodies, 3 breasts, 4 motor vehicles." What am I supposed to say to that? Get a divorce, man.
I wish he was coming to our Comic-Con.
Do it.
You did that.
I didn't.
Yeah, I'd slap the shit out of him.
I would too.
The guy
Yeah,
who
there's-
says, "You're
There you go.
doomed, you're all doomed."
I love how he doesn't even address him by his name. He's geeky old man.
They made that decision. Well, we're thinking about
I love the little country music in the background.
For God's sake.
Harmonica.
You realize how many scenes
Lose that effing harmonica, man.
of putting the camera in a big hole? You guys
He's gonna switch from the Mountain Dew over to coffee.
Yep. Trying to stay awake.
2 movies in.
Got a promotion.
Not even 2 movies in.
Jay took off wherever the hell he went. We don't know, right? You got to start pumping that Java now, though, because you're going to have a big depression around 2 a.m. and then you get that second wind. Of course,
I like looking at the studios. Walking through there.
And keep TNT standards and practices from breathing down our necks about drinking on TV. Okay, nothing like a hot cup of Joe to get you through a night of nympho slaughtering. And,
Veggie tray.
the coffee's empty. Where's Mary?
Nympho slaughtering. I love that he gets mad that they cut out the nudity, even though he knows he's on regular TV and they cut out the nudity.
That's the difference between then and now.
Friday the 13th, Part 2 on TNT.
I can't believe they killed that dog. One of the main rules of horror
Muffin.
is that you can kill as many people as you want to, but never kill a pet. People get upset. Remember when Mad Max's dog gets killed in the original Mad
He's
Max?
right. I mean, John Wick built a whole
Now we
franchise
have a
off of it.
rotting carcass.
Remember Kane Hodder said that he was not going to kill that dog in Friday the 13th Part 8, but he strangled that Asian for 10 minutes on the movie?
Jaws sticking up in the air
Yep.
and a grotesque Tom Savini.
I'll pretend to kill this Asian, but I'm not going to pretend to kill the dog.
I should also point out that this is the first Friday the 13th flick where
My bad.
political
Kick a
correctness
dog.
is
Not even kill.
We've got
Kick a dog.
Mark in the wheel-
Jason would never kick a dog.
wheelchair camper who's still
Remember when they talked about that in Halloween Kills when Hawkins makes the comment that it's a child trapped in a man's body? Talking about Michael Myers, they never ever brought up anything about that before or ever again.
Crying
Yeah.
for resurrection. Okay, let's
'Cause it's terrible.
Any of you guys know what the heck that means? Crying for resurrection. You know what that means?
Hey, David, what about right here if I said he's a man?
Ernie, did the
Or a child
PA
trapped in a
come back
man's
with the
body.
coffee yet?
And then I start crying like I did when Bruce Willis going to stay on the asteroid in Armageddon.
I got thinking that's somebody's child there. Uh-oh, Ronnie.
Okay.
Got him. Hispanic, just like in L.A. Gone.
Joe Bob's finna get him. Watch this.
All right, Ernie. Ernie.
Good question, though. If they had got the chick that plays Jenny to be Alice in Part 1, and she carried it over into Part 2, would she have been Jamie Lee Curtis level?
Well, I think Bud brought that up on his last live stream, Ronnie, is Adrienne King,
Did you notice
you
there at
know,
the end how
she
Paul
starred in a
was
low budget horror movie that was hugely successful. You got to wonder why she didn't become
Jason's face always
Jamie Lee
remains
Curtis,
the
and
same.
Jamie Lee
You
Curtis,
only see
did or whatever.
of it. Grotesque
She's
Is there that much?
expressions
Is there
when
that
they
much
combine
difference
their
between the
mind.
two of them?
And it's
She's
always
ugly.
the final scene of the flick. But
Okay.
part of the Friday the 13th legend is
Can't
that
act.
Shirley has no face.
Which one are you describing?
Well, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is not ugly.
Heavy, right? Okay, let's put it on
I mean,
the
she is
board.
now.
Oh, I forgot.
I love that somebody in the chat the other day brought up that what if Jason got his pillow case from the bed when he was laying there?
Yeah.
They should have never had a close up of his face when he's crossing the road, and you could probably made that argument. Let me fast forward.
And since they made this in 3D, you get to see the actual penetration, so to speak, which is why this might
We're not
be
even halfway through.
on TV. So listen closely while I do the
Ready to hang it up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Me too.
Are you?
We'll stop it after this one. Here's the drive-in totals.
Right? But anyway, we lost our Chiron guy, but we have 13 dead bodies, the required number.
You were close.
To the stomach. Spear gun to the eye.
Mm.
Not cut in half lengthwise, starting at the bottom. What? Knife to the neck. It's the only way I could do it.
You're a dead man, Briggs.
Chiron guy's gone.
Know what it said?
Yeah.
Roll. Eyeballs pop.
Joe Bob will pay the piper.
No kung fu. 3 stars. What? What is everybody looking at? What the heck is
All right, so
Would somebody like to film me in?
She's my baby!
Hey, it's the first annual Joe Bob Briggs Dusk to Dawn Friday the 13th marathon. And you can probably
He's
guess
already
we're dealing with the
asleep.
usual formula here in part 3. We got the crazy old man warning them of the old.
So it is fun. We're not going to make it through the whole thing, Ronnie, but it is fun. And if you're like me and you haven't experienced, Joe Bob Briggs, go check him out. All the stuff, and it ain't just horror. He reviews everything. I think I watched Mars Attacks the other day. He was talking about it, Forbidden Planet. There's all kind of stuff. So go check him out. It is a good little nostalgic show, especially if you're 80s kid.
yeah, and you can find playlists. I mean, literally, there's like a huge playlist of all the Joe Bob through the movie channel, through TNT. All of that's on YouTube if you want to find it. If you've never heard of Joe Bob, go check it out, especially if you like horror or you like any of those guys that come in between movies and talk. It's good. This was a great idea, Blake. Happy Friday the 13th to everybody. Hit us in the comments. What's your favorite Joe Bob moment? Do you like Joe Bob? Do you not like Joe Bob? And hopefully everybody's having a good Friday the 13th, Blake.
Yep. Hope so. Best day of the year, except for tomorrow.
There you go.